Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I think we're all morning so far. We've got quite a few people registered for this, which is exciting. So I'm going to give it a few minutes to, yeah, we'll see if we can get progress. Okay.
Morning.
Hey, Lee. I'm so happy that there's two Monicas and there's two Claires because I don't look quite as weird by having two of myself. But I've got this running on my phone as well, just to make sure that you don't lose the slides, because that happens quite a lot. We'll let Mark in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Whoop. Is that me echoing or you echoing? Me. 1 second. That's okay. It's you, Monica. So I'm going to pop you on mute. We got an echo? Perfect. So this is going to be divine flow today. I'm actually using some really old slides because I just couldn't really be bothered to update them because this is just, I know this stuff so well now, you know, this is my world. And my focus is now not on the detail, but on the present moment, you know? So what we need today, we will use, and what we don't need, we'll just flick through and interact with me, right? This is a beautiful opportunity for you to ask your questions, share your challenges, share your dreams. I posted a little post on Facebook just before saying that the divine timing of anything is not your concern. Our only concern has to be readiness to receive, preparing ourselves to be the person that has that outcome. And where we find ourselves focusing in our business is on the outcome and on the struggle in the current moment to be at that outcome. And what we do is we create this massive gap. And when we live in this gap, we actually draw in more lack effectively. So some of you will be joining this masterclass as the grand finale of the mystery school, where we go deep into a few things, the quantum principle. I literally got to where I am going through the quantum principles, starting to learn the quantum science behind how you create success. And that gave me this element of trust, because at the time I didn't have that trust within myself. I hadn't had this spiritual evolution. And so I needed something to grab hold of. And that's why I share the mystery school now, because I think it's helpful for people to understand that there is a science behind this. And so if we're not believing in ourselves, believe in the damn science and start to get the level of trust that's needed to start allow life to unfold for you. And then you can see the universe reflecting back the successes, the wins in divine flow. And then you start to get a little bit more secure, right? A little bit more certain. So congratulations for everybody who is here, either live or on the replay from the mystery school. It's an intense 7 days. It really is. We go deep, but it's so inspiring always to see the breakthroughs of people, to receive the messages saying how they even have manifested money in those 7 days, or they've seen something that they hadn't seen previously, or they've shifted a limiting belief that they have about themselves. Another post I shared on Facebook, Instagram this week was about being a business shaman in that way. It's that is my job, is to see the things that you don't see and to help you to trust what you can't see. So we're going to, we're going to be going deeper into that divine flow today, and really how not only do I create income for my clients, how I create specifically quite a big shift, usually in the first 4 to 6 weeks. But also, I want to know whether you're here because you also feel something outside of the income as well, you know, like a calling, a soul's purpose, a feeling that you're here for a reason that is perhaps bigger than you that you don't see, a desire that perhaps your ego comes up and like kicks you in the head about when you go, I want to be big. I want to get big. I want to be seen as a thought leader. I want to be respected for what I know. I want to claim my space in this market. I want to go big. Show me how to scale. But you want to know how to scale in a way that doesn't consume your whole life, that doesn't mean your business chews up every single hour that you have in your day. And not just the time to do, but the head time, the constant thinking, the constant churning around. What should I do next? What should I post? Where should I be? What should I say? What offer can I try? What can I try that I haven't tried yet? Right? We recording? Yes. Whew. How do we do it without that? Because that gets exhausting. It's not sustainable and it is not your creative authenticity either. There is a beautiful space that you can arrive to where you feel like you. You feel like you're expressing who you truly are. You feel like you're expanding who you are through this journey of your business. Your business is just another example of divine love, whether it's a human, whether it's a business, whether it's a family member, whether it's an incident, everything that is coming into our lives, we're calling in from ourselves, from our blueprints of belief. And if what arrives is not aligned, doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right, creates triggers, feels like lack, that is our invitation to work on the inside. That is the preparedness for the outcome that you seek. That is where we pull back from focusing on all this strategy and we lean into the inner journey. How do I feel more whole and complete? How do I have an awakened blueprint? So if we've got this blueprint on the inside, how does it become this awakened blueprint of open beliefs, of empowered beliefs, self-worth, self-love, trust, so that you pull more to mirror that into your world? So this little webinar here that we've been doing for a little while. Hold on a second. Let's make sure we've got all on mute. What? Sorry, I might have just asked you to unmute. Monica, ignore me. You got to the button faster. This is about how visionary transformation coaches, healers, new earth leaders, basically people who are working for impact, who have experiences in life that they're taking out and you want to help other people. You want to see people shift, but you want to make money, right? Maybe you've been doing this for a little while. Usually people who come to me, it's between 1 to 3 years and they're just not making enough out of what they do. And they're starting to feel really uncomfortable about that because like I said, it's taking time. It's becoming a sacrifice. It's becoming a mind fuck. So more money, less time, and unprecedented heights of success. I'm constantly now seeing, like my avatars, my leaders, my guides on places like Instagram, asking myself, "Ooh, how do I become more like this? How do I show up more like that? How do I touch people in the way that they're touching people?" Because it is not just about making money, it's about making an impact as well. And that requires influence. It requires our audience to trust us. So we're going to be going into that. There is a good split in this webinar between strategy, but also frequency. I wrote a whole book on how to awaken your miracle frequency. My whole story is about how, in awakening my own miracle frequency, my life has fallen into divine flow. My business is in divine flow. It's almost like you completely lose your mind and you find your heart, and then you can live there and good shit starts to happen, right? Because you're in overflow, you're in trust, you're in peace. I really remember a time for a long time where there was no peace, and it's horrible, you know? whether that again is a relationship or in your business, in your life. Like if you're lacking inner peace, it's uncomfortable. So how do we switch on these energetic circuits of abundance so that you're pulling in opportunity, you're pulling in the people, you're pulling in the clients instead of pushing them away or just like having massive energetic walls up to receiving them. So this is a blend of proven marketing techniques. And these are the things that have grown my business with the magic of tapping into your energetic potential. And I call it $1 million message and a millionaire brand, not because necessarily it is $1 million, but it feels like that, right? It feels like that scale, that reach, that impact that is already inside of you. How do we let it out? So at this point, I would love for you to pop into the chat. Why are you here? And what out of those things is really what you're wanting to hear about? Or are you wanting to hear about something different? Because I will make sure that I meet those needs today. So I'm going to open up the chat for just a couple of minutes and you can just drop in. Don't be shy. Don't hold back. Chat box open. Mark, where are you in the world? We've not met.
Hamilton, Clare.
Ah. Oh, I love it. It's like NZ Australia representing.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I was over Tauranga way too for quite a while. I just came back 6 years ago or so.
Oh, nice. I love it. Awesome. Well, I don't see. Oh, here we go. We got Lee. How to live in flow and guided by intuition. That's right. Yeah. We're going to dig into that. Definitely. 100%. Monica, I want to keep my energy more balanced and in flow. Yeah. Yes. Coherence. It's a massive topic because we are bombarded by energy all of the time. And sometimes it's the things that, are triggers from us, but sometimes it is just energetic, right? It is just the fact that we live in a world full of people and everybody's carrying energy around, and then there's planetary stuff and everything else. But the more resilient you can become on the inside, and again, it comes down to that peace, inner peace, the easier it's going to be to be in more balance and in more flow. And that comes to the blueprint that we're going to talk about. Was anybody here on the mystery school live? Is anybody here live gone through the mystery school this week? I also want to stop trying to make a living and forgetting to live. Oh, Monica, yes. Yes. Comes to that trust piece, right? Because if we trusted, then we'd follow our heart. We'd listen to what the heart says. But we don't trust because we have the imprint. So on the mystery school, just to summarize it, Angelina, staying consistent in higher energy, trusting that guidance, making it actually happen. Yes. Although it already is. That's the thing. There is a dimension. Beautiful. My quantum leap coach, one of my masterclass coaches, did this epic presentation this week in the portal. And she really talked about that quantum jumping. It's jumping a timeline, right? It's already happening in some dimensional field in the vortex. Some other identity of you is already living that success. You just haven't made the shift yet. So it's like, again, comes to you, comes to that blueprint, comes to the energy, comes to the decisions, comes to the the feelings in the moment and how you choose to see things as well. Because again, going to the shaman and trusting what you don't see, if you and the shaman walks the worlds, right? So the shaman kind of lives with physical feet here, but here they can be anywhere. They can see anything, they can receive anything. And it's like you're actually living and feeling like what you want is there. And that changes everything. And it also pulls it in. So in the mystery school, we go through these beautiful six steps, sorry. So the baseline of everything, and Lee will tell you, he's one of my one-to-one clients, like, I will drill this into you until you hate me. 7x7 method. I've had people working with me for 6 months and they're like, well, what do I do about this, Claire? 7x7 method. Sit down on your ass and connect in. It is so simple. It is there on a free app. It gives you this beautiful opportunity to go away from what's going on the outside and concentrate on what's going on in the inside and come back into coherence. So I really went deep in the mystery school about this foundational step, but it's a step that we carry all the way through what I'm going to show you today, which is the Awakened Wealth Blueprint. It is how you generate wealth in a very awakened way. But this is the foundational step. Monica says, it's like my dreams already desire me. This is how I start seeing it. Okay, I can't understand that, but that could just be my brain because it's the end of the week and my kids have been sick for 6 weeks. Next, we go into the See It method. We went deeply into my See It method, which is actually you have to be specific, right? I really talk about desiring something in its essence, not its form, but we still need specificity so that we can feel it, right? We need the details in lots of ways so that we can feel it in a very detailed way, but we don't want to get hooked on what we're chasing, and we definitely don't want to chase. So this See It method is a clever way to really give you a way of visioning, which is obviously important to manifestation, without getting hooked on the outcome. We then go into quantum alignment. We really talk about, how we talk the quantum feedback loop, right? Again, it comes from you. It comes with a little thought. You put it out there into the ether. And what happens is it starts to travel around. It starts to move through the field. And then you start to get distracted by all these things that are happening. Oh, fuck, that client didn't pay. Oh my God, nobody's looked at that social media post. Nobody's picked up that offer. And where your energy drifts is away from the intention that you had from the thing that you thought about to goodness knows where. So there's no energy, right? There's no energy in what you put out. And so it doesn't come back, or it comes back in like some really loose, ridiculously weak form. What we want is full attention. It's true. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. We want full attention on being the person, again, preparedness, that can stay in trust as that little wave turns into a thought and it goes into that quantum feedback loop and it starts going around because it's going to come back to you. It's a boomerang. You stay with it. You trust whatever happens in your circumstances, which takes a really deep level of healing. Okay. A really deep level of healing. And this is where we talk about the ripple effect of belief on day 4. We go into how there's this ripple effect of a belief that you have, and it ripples through how you see things, how you think about things, how you react to things, and ultimately becomes this identity that sits on the outside of this ripple, which I lovingly in the mystery school call the nipple, because it starts with the nipple, which is the belief and has these little rings around it that looks terribly like a nipple in my picture. But on this edge ring, this is the identity. And this is where the quantum jump part comes in, right? It's like, who is the identity of the person who already has what I want? And that's where we get into quantum creation, right? Because when we have the identity, we have the trust, we've got all these pieces lined up, we're then becoming a co-creator with the universe. It's like I say, divine plan has a plan. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And you just start to get into flow. You start to see the synchronicities. You start to see the opportunities. You start to see things that you didn't see before and say yes to them. And all the way through this process, we need to be taking some level of action, which is what we talk about on day 6. What does that really look like? Okay, because Claire talks a lot about divine flow and not doing very much and attracting a lot. But we do actually have to have a level of action. So if you haven't got access to the mystery school, you want access to the mystery school, it is free as part of one of the bonuses to my book. So that's just $7.99, and I can give you a link to the book, and you can actually jump through and go through the mystery school. And those that are here on the replay, congratulations for coming through the mystery school, for being here on day 7. You're amazing. Okay, so today I am going to show you how to design a scaling income system. What do I mean by scaling income system? So, like, we want a business that grows from us as we grow. Okay. We don't want to get stuck in income plateaus anymore. We don't want to hit walls. We definitely don't want to go backwards. I see a lot of yo-yo earners. Oh, Claire, I got a 100K launch, and then nothing happens for a considerable amount of time. And you might say, well, that's great, 100K, but what do you do with that money once you've got it, right? Because a lot of people, if they haven't healed their money beliefs, will spend it and then it's gone. So it's like, again, identity, becoming the person who has what you want, preparing yourself to receive, and going from actually, yo-yoing or getting stuck to consistently expanding, because everything in the universe is expanding. And if you're expanding, then your business will expand with you. And we want it working like clockwork, right? We want to have a business that works for us and works for our goals, works for alignment to who we feel we are. Like, I was thinking, I was coming back from the gym this morning and all I could think about was my decks. Like, I literally felt obsessed. I wanted to get out the car and just like start dancing. I haven't mixed for, I think, a couple of weeks now because my kids have been sick. And it's like, kind of these moments remind me of just how much freedom I have to do what I love. Okay. So once your business is working for you on clockwork, you can focus on the things that you love and you can decide whether they become part of how you monetize your business. I think often it happens by accident, when you really start to get into that flow. So we also want to create money that scales in a way that doesn't scale the time you're putting into the business. So you have the time freedom and you have an expanded experience of life. Because again, I got to a moment in my business where it was like, oh, wow, there's all this money in the bank, but I was miserable as sin. I realized that I'd kind of put safety band-aids all over the things that I feared about in terms of my security. But the way that I was creating that money, because of the beliefs that I had, meant that, I was like, I think far out. Bowie was 2 minutes old and I was already doing a live video with her attached to my breast. Do you know what I mean? It's like making those decisions when I really wish now I would have just laid back and enjoyed that moment and fallen asleep. So when we've got these scarcity beliefs, when we've got beliefs that are related to our security, our safety, our primal safety as well, we'll talk about that a little bit today, we just make decisions that don't make us feel good. And what we really want to attract, the easiest way to attract more of what you want is to just feel good. But again, that taps into all those beliefs that we have, right? Responsibility, all of the things that we taught about how money is made, all the things we know about how society works. And we've got to really get into these blueprints and see what you think, see what you believe, that is creating the ripple effect that rolls through your actions, that creates the identity that you have that perhaps isn't your highest potential. And if it's not your highest potential, then it's also not for the highest good, because the divine plan is always for the highest good, right? It is always looking, again, the universe is always expanding. It is looking for the way that you can get to that place where you're doing the most good for you and others. And actually it becomes less about you and more about others. And what was I going to say then? It's gone. But yeah, it's about the highest good, the highest expression. So my name is Clare Williamson. I help other New Earth leaders to create awakened wealth. I founded the Awakened Wealth app and community. There's now 400 active users, or almost, of the app. And we've got about just over 1,000 people in the community. I innovated the quantum leap method as well, which is a way, if you're a coach and you're finding you're finding your own clients are coming up against limiting beliefs and blocks, you can use my method to transform them from the inside out. So that is where my Quantum Leap Master coaches come from. They go through that certification. And yeah, learn to apply the quantum science, learn to have a way to approach trauma that is somatic. Because when I went through all of my trauma informed coaching stuff, I was like, oh God, this is very mind heavy, and realize that the trauma's in the body and we have to release it from there. So you basically get what I do in a beautiful little package, and you get to take it out and you get to use it and you get to become a leader in the community and help me to help others. Because that was something that I realized was I can't do this on my own. I don't want to do this on my own. And I can reach more people by bringing more people in. Yeah, as partners, I guess. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more at the end. I've helped hundreds of visionaries crack their abundance code and have breakthroughs that have changed the trajectory of their life and success. I'm kind of known as the woman who makes you pivot. A lot of people come to me and like they think that they're doing one thing and they end up doing another thing, because we peel off the layers that are kind of blocking, like I say, this highest potential. So yeah, I do something random in this presentation that a lot of people don't do in theirs. They wait until the end to show you the testimonials, but I like to start with them because I want to get your trust. I want you to believe in yourself. I know what it feels like to feel like something's just out of reach, to feel like you've been kind of doing it for a while and nothing's changed. So I like to put these testimonials in at the start. And hopefully you can hear this. This is one of my longest standing clients. She was with me for 3.5 years. And she's experiencing just whopping success right now. She was one of the pivoters. She was trying to work with people who she thought that they wanted to leave their jobs and find their spiritual businesses. And then we realized that that wasn't the case. She wanted to work with those people who already had spiritual businesses. And she really thought that she would use her own corporate skills around marketing. But when she tapped into her freaking soul, she knew that she was about alignment. All of these spiritual gifts came through, and she's now working with 7-figure earners to align them so they start to make money in a way that is more aligned to who they are. So I'm going to just pop this little one on. If anybody can't hear it, give me
I can make that really easy. I'm thinking, because if I look back at my last 13 months, not only have I doubled my sales, so the income of that time is doubled compared to before. I've published a best-selling book. I'm about to publish the second one in June right now. I've up-leveled my clients. I've launched a group program on top of the one-on-one. So that is just KPIs that came as a result from working with you largely into both programs. So if anyone is on that journey as well, stepping into higher income levels and creating more impact, being more visible and being clearer on what you want to communicate, who your ideal client is, then work with you. That it is, because you do that epic combination of all that energetic and the integration plus the marketing, right? Because you know the business and the people side. And that's just a really, really unique and really cool combination that just brings a 360-degree thing. You're full circle.
So I love that. I love Judith. She's not working with me now. I'm putting together the last episode of a documentary that I created last year that kind of fell off a little bit when my marriage ended a few months ago. I can't be bothered to do that. But the final episode really digs into, losing Judith, because she'd been alongside me for such a long time. But that's the nature of how your business will grow. You'll have unexpected things turn up that actually end up being so much for the better. And we've got to really dig into where our doubts come in. Like I mentioned before, like what happens when a client doesn't pay, or if a bit of money doesn't come in, or if something, it's like, where does your mind go? That's where we've got to go. Bring up these beliefs now, start working with them, overcoming them, and your business is going to grow way faster. This next one is from, I asked for a short testimonial from Bella, and this is what came. But she She is one of my Quantum Leap master coaches as well. She said, I said out loud and declared to the universe that I have special spiritual gifts and need to learn what they are about, what they are, so that I can best help those who need me. I said specifically, I need a spiritual coach. Claire popped into my DM. When I heard Claire speak on one of her Facebook lives, I knew instantly she was the one to help me through my spiritual journey because I could feel her dynamic energy. I could feel through the deep inner work she had done for herself and instinctively knew that she would understand and guide me on my spiritual path. Thus far, I have learned more in 6 months than I would have ever learned in a lifetime on my own. It has been the best investment for myself I could ever have imagined I'd experience. And with Claire's continuous squiggle way and openness, she can lead me even deeper into the remembrance of who I am and what I'm here to do in this lifetime. I feel like Claire is that turtle in Finding Nemo who shows me how cool life can be when we learn how to catch that wave tunnel under the water. And she continues to do this over and over again. My soul is enjoying the ride. Whee! I'm continuously learning how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and ride the wave in my own style, enjoying every moment. I love Claire's tools and teaching and find them priceless. I want to continue passing on the torch to those who are awaiting this new energy and way of being in freedom from our own emotional prison that we have been living through. I want to be liberated so that I can help guide the way for others to liberate themselves and live in true freedom and bliss every day. So that really like gives me the feels, right? Because Bella really is the example of perhaps where you are, where again, she wanted the book, she wanted the reach, she wanted the scale, she wanted the influence, she wanted to be on the stages, but none of it was happening. And she was just hustling every day trying to get clients. And we want to shift, right? It's like when we can start to work in more divine flow, then these opportunities are going to come to you. I'm going to show you how, and it's exciting. So you are ready to take if you're here, this masterclass is for you. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, you're excited for the next level of income, impact, and light leadership. You're ready to bring something magical to life before the end of the year, but you're blocked. Finding your $1 million message. I'm starting to get what that $1 million message means now, right? It's the big one, right? It might not necessarily make you $1 million this year, but fuck, you're going to feel like a millionaire. Right? It's your millionaire brand. It's when you look at yourself on social media and you go, yeah, okay, we're getting it. You're not feeling frustrated. You're not feeling frustrated with clients, with opportunities, with how much money you're making. And, you've heard the call this year. There's so many people, so many initiates that are reaching out to me who are, seeing the little symbols, seeing the numbers, seeing the shapes, seeing the things that we see that tell us, okay, we might be here for a purpose and want to take the journey to remembering that purpose. And often we have to do soul retrieval for that, right? It's like somewhere in the past, we've kind of like ticked a little disclaimer somewhere to say we get off the soul path because the soul path got really challenging. We got hurt somewhere. We got traumatized. And we need to retrieve that part of ourselves who is freaking ready to go. Okay. So that call is stirring the desires of your true soul goal. You're ready to go big. You're ready to be big. You're ready to lead. You're ready to be a thought leader. And at the same time, make some money for what you do. You may also have recognized that you have some fear. You may be having those horrible moments of imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough. You may be lacking confidence to be seen. I remember so many moments I'd think about saying something and I just would never say it, right? Because I feared judgment. I feared criticism. And it wasn't just the fearing the judgment and the criticism. It was fearing the feeling that created inside, right? Didn't want to feel like that. You may be getting pulled into patterns of procrastination, distraction, and saying no to your big dreams because of small time issues that take up your time and your attention. I call this boof. Okay, we talk a lot about this in my mastermind, the Medicine Temple. Where are you spending time on boof? I had a beautiful couple come to me in August who shifted their income within 24 hours of their first strategic call. They made 10 grand. They then went on to start writing a chapter in my series for the book. They had their best month that they've ever had in December. And then they just went really quiet in January and February, like really quiet. And I was like, guys, what's going on? And they're like, our money's just disappeared. It's gone. So what do you mean it's gone? They're like, well, we made the 10K month and then the 12K month and then the 15K month. And then we hit the goal of the whatever K month in the December, but now we just can't get clients. I said, okay, well, what's happened? And what had happened was that we had in that strategic call created a one-to-one offer that they'd immediately gone out and sold. That's how they made that money, right? They made that money through the one-to-one high ticket offer. They'd then gone away, and because of their own feelings of insecurity that they hadn't brought into the room, they hadn't shared this with me, that they felt like an imposter in the offer, right? They felt like they weren't good enough to be sharing that offer. And so they'd started to invest time in building a value ladder underneath, which we do as part of my program, but we don't invest. I asked them, how much time are you investing every single week in promoting this one-to-one offer, right? So that we create a spillover. So we need to create a group, right? And they said about 5% of the time. Okay, where is the other 95% of the time going into? And like, well, we created this $30 meditation thing, and then we created a $45, and then we've got 100. And I was like, why? Why? And it's the feelings of good enoughness, right? It's like all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, I don't feel good enough here. So I'm going to spend my time here, and I'm going to put these offers that kind of validate how good enough I feel. Now, I always say to my clients, if you do not bring these feelings of insecurity into our sessions, I cannot work on them, right? And in a group program, it's obviously more difficult to root them out. One-to-one, it's way easier because I'm with you a lot. But in a group, it's not as easy. You have to be more forthcoming in what's going on. But you will always be there. You will always receive income to your level of feelings of like power and like certainty. And what happened after that strategic call, like it was a 2-hour call, they felt hot, right? They came out, they're like, boom, we're on fire. You know, they had the energy, they had the frequency, they had the belief. You've got to have that belief, because where you don't have your belief is where you waste time and you're invested in buff, because it just, you know, just matches how you feel. So we've got to change how you feel. That's the fastest. Don't change the strategy, change how you feel, and everything will change more easily. So across the next just under an hour, because I'm going to speed up, I'm going to show you how to quantum leap your expansion, raise the roof on your money and visibility ceilings, and unleash this millionaire impact and brand. I want you to have a wildly successful business, but I also want you to have like thriving health, broad impact alongside that money. I want you to have time with your family. I want you to have experiences. I want you to have an expanded experience of life because you're expanding. I call this awakened wealth. Now, a question that always comes through, always, is like, well, can that really change my income? Like, if we go into the inner journey, does that really make money, Claire? Like, seriously? Because it's not what you see generally, is it? It's the strategy. Do this thing and this will change. But the thing is, you could do the same strategy as the person who is making $1 million and it would make no difference to you. And that's because of the inside, right? So the answer is yes. I'm going to give you the ability to skyrocket your business growth and reach your goals faster. And you're going to want to know how to quantum leap, how to do that. So I'm going to show you. So that is that question. Can it really work, Claire? Can it seriously? So Judith shared in her testimonial that she exceeded her entire net sales for 2021 in the first 6 months of 2022, including a 30K month. And there's just this beautiful story behind the 30K month that we were actually doing. We were running 2 challenges alongside each other in the Medicine Temple. The one was a DM challenge. So I gave you the scripts. I told you how to go out and reach to, 10 people a day or whatever. And the other one was the beginnings of starting to create the app. So it was more like a meditation challenge. And I said to Judith on this call, so you're going to go and you're going to, and it was a miscommunication. You're going to go and meditate 7 times a day. Okay. And she must have heard 7 hours a day, because 2.5 weeks later, she came back and she just looked distraught on the session. She's like, Claire, I'm kicking myself. I just can't do it. I can't let go of the hustle. I'm only managing to meditate 3 to 4 hours a day. I said, what? 3 to 4 hours? She's like, yeah. And I know. And you said 7. No, I said 7 times, Judith. 7 hours. Like, holy crap. You're meditating 3 to 4 hours a day. She's like, yeah. And at the end of that month, she made 30K. And the cool thing was, it didn't actually come all through her business. Some came through her business. Some was random stuff. She got like some tax thing back from 2015. Like some guy turned up at the door in Germany and said, oh, we were doing this thing and this thing went wrong and you owed this money. She received something else from one of her previous businesses. Then that's the thing. Money doesn't just have to come to you through your business. Is that not just beautiful? And I was in Mexico. I don't know who has read my book here, but I had a fraud. I was frauded in 2022, I think it was, end of 22. And I was literally just leaving the country for 2 months and I had this massive fear. We'll talk about that. My dad lost his business when I was 8 to fraud. And I must have been harboring this fear that, this could happen to me. And it did happen to me. And it was 20 grand. And what happens when you experience that is that it was through Stripe and you have to honor what is charged back. And so I had to honor this 20K, which was pretty much my income for my travel. And also because I didn't honor it quick enough, Stripe cut me off. So all of the client income that I was supposed to have coming in for 2 months while I was traveling and having this beautiful financial freedom and a great time stopped. I was like, holy shit. I've just, given you my savings. I had 30K to spend as well on the retreat that I was going to. I had all the bills to pay for that. And then my money was cut off through Stripe. And we're getting on this plane with 3 kids and I'm fucking shitting myself. I'm like, oh my God, don't panic. What do you say about like telling myself, I'm like, what do you say about hurricanes, Claire? Stand in the middle of them and dance. I was like, everything's going to be okay. And I breathed and I relaxed and I allowed and I thought, Claire, this is happening on purpose. You've manifested this. You're here to grow. This has a divine plan. It has a divine purpose. And that entire 2 months, the craziest things happened. I'd be faced with something I wasn't expecting. And then an affiliate payment. I got an affiliate payment from Mind Movies. And I've been an affiliate with Mind Movies for about 12 years and not earned a cent. And then all of a sudden, on the day that I needed to pay something, this thing popped into my PayPal and we're like, oh, here you go. Here's $300. Like, and this is the miracle frequency. So we don't have to always be attached to the money coming through our business. You are divinely held. You are meant to thrive. The sun does not choose who it shines on every single day, but you have got to get into the solar circuit, right? You have got to get into that solar circuit of abundance. Switch those energetic circuits on. Joanne quit her job and was able to go full-time in her coaching business. She's a single mom of 4. I actually had an emotional moment this morning when I saw one of her reels. She's just such in beautiful divine alignment, doing what she loves. And she was so afraid. I remember her. I remember when she started, it's like, I can't give up this accounting job that she hated. So we're being told all the time, it's a lot. We're being told that money comes through launches, money comes through constant DM conversations, money comes through constant sales calls, money comes through all the stuff that goes into getting those sales calls, the funnels, the landing page. And yes, those things have to be there for you to have big reach and big scale to some level. Absolutely. But how you create them, that's what this is about. How you create them easily. How the conversations come naturally, how the content is creatively authentic and impactful and feels good as you post it and comes through divine inspiration. I love how my clients will say, like, oh, you just, the divine downloads. I just came into my mind as I was meditating this morning, and the post does well. It was the right thing to say in the right moment. So if you felt the hustle, and that's kind of spending so much time in this busy work, and you kind of end up not being able to see the wood for the trees, and it becomes a constant struggle. What next? How? What next? How? What next? How? And then you beat yourself up when that thing doesn't work. This is the right place to be, because this blocks your creativity, and it's your creativity that makes money. It's your creativity that makes you feel good. Money is literally just an exchange on value, and you are most valuable when you are in your creative authenticity and in radical expression as well, saying the damn thing, posting the damn post, pushing the damn buttons, and being able to stand in your power when you receive the judgment or the criticism or the whatever it is. And how do we get to that power? Because, if we do not heal within, if we do not come to a place of peace, then when we stand in our power, we'll discharge chaos as well. And that also doesn't create a frequency of abundance. So it's like the inner journey to peace, to peace, ultimately. So what I'm saying is, if we're creatively blocked because we've got the head constantly switched on, there's no space up here, then we can't put into these things on this list, right? We can't inspire the right business model. We can't inspire the campaign that does well. We can't reach people with our heart and our words. We can't inspire the funnel that just, kind of just lands in the right time, in the right place for the right person. You'll struggle to find ideas. You'll energetically call in failures as well, like failed launches. Again, because you'll just be doubting. You'll be doubting before you've even got to launch day that you are, that it's going to work, or it's going to, you'll hustle over your content. You'll end up posting more and seeing your engagement getting less and less, or you'll get engagement and conversion will be a struggle. So your conversations won't go well. You have to break the habit of being yourself, and strategy is never, ever, ever, ever going to teach that. So when I said to you that there was that place in my business where I'd actually made money, I'd broken through my income block, I actually still didn't realize that I had old limiting beliefs that was still affecting how I was making the money. And that's the problem. It's like when we're stuck in our own paradigm, when we don't have the shaman seeing what you can't see, we're sleeping awake. And there's no one to ask questions that help us to shift our perspectives, and the perspectives are blocking the path, right? So these were really my limiting beliefs, that you earn money by pushing harder, controlling more, doing more, and basically hustling. And so there was a condition on my abundance. And I want you to just feel in for a moment, like, what is the condition that you have on your abundance? Does that question make sense? Can you see the condition? Can you feel the condition? And can you maybe start to see where you might be, by having a limit like that, you're creating a limited experience. So here's a beautiful ripple of effect. Got your attention, Mark. Got you out of what you're looking at. My childhood. When I was born, my mum was sectioned. So from the moment I was born, my mum was taken away from me, put into a hospital and drugged, because they diagnosed her with bipolar. And for a long time, I didn't have that kind of, nurturing. And really, I guess my whole life from that point, my relationship with my mum was now I can see what I needed at a primal level, you know? For a long time, I was sort of, and this was a very unhealthy expression of my divine masculine. Like, I'm strong. I'm independent. I didn't need that love. And I am like I am now, I used to go into everything like a bull in a china shop and smash shit up, get what I wanted. And it wasn't really until I was raped at 25 years old or a little bit younger that I realized that the complete opposite was true. Because of that upbringing, because of that lack of nurturing, it's an abandonment root kind of wound ultimately. I actually felt really powerless. And that was the push, right? I was pushing. I felt completely powerless. And I also see how, even though I tried to tell myself different things and be different, I could see the world through my parents' eyes, which was also, we're a victim to our circumstances. Life is tough. Life's going to come at you. You have to fight. The amount of times that my father, since my marriage ended, has told me, don't worry, love, you're a fighter. And I've turned around to him, who's got dementia, so he forgets. I keep telling him. And I'm like, Dad, I don't need to fight anymore. There's nothing to fight. And I just, that's almost like my wish is that he'll get to his deathbed and realize he doesn't have to fucking fight. There's no fight. Because we have this innate power, it comes from a balance of the divine masculine and feminine. It comes from healing. But whatever core belief you have, it's going to ripple out, right? It's going to ripple out into the belief system. So it's like, oh, if I stop working, I'll lose everything that I have created. So what did I do? Worked harder, right? Oh, to scale more, I have to do more. So what did I do? Pushed harder, worked more. And then I'm in this identity of hustle and I'm doing all the things, actions. Your actions come from your identity. Your identity comes from your belief system. So it's a ripple effect, right? So I was always being the person working. My relationship, I was always the one that was like wearing the trousers financially. And it's been very recently that I actually said, enough's enough. You fucking sort it out. I'm not. Like, just actually feeling okay to say, this wee burden that I've worn on my back for the last 10 years, here you go, you have some of it, right? It's a shared thing. But I didn't feel like that. I felt like I had to be the person turning the wheel. I saw that was how money was made, that the wheel had to be turned. And the consequence of that was just where I got to, which was deep unhappiness. And I can see that, like I say, a lot of it came from childhood. And I guess I could see the experience playing out, but I was sleeping awake. Let me know if you don't understand what I mean by sleeping awake, like having these belief systems and just not really, not really paying attention to them. You'll always be a reflection of your ripple effect of belief. So now my empowered belief is that money flows easily to me. Because at the center of that, I have developed that belief that I am powerful, but not in a way that discharges chaos, peaceful power. And I believe that money is easy to make. And so the identity sits on the side of that is I am in ease and I am in flow. So you do this exercise in the mystery school, we work out what that ripple effect of belief is and how you shift it. And it's really, really powerful. Your beliefs are also creating your emotions. So if we go back, go back here, I am powerless. How does that make you feel? Right? It's like, yeah, I can still feel it. It's like, a givey up feeling, like a vulnerable feeling. And that creates your emotions, and your emotions create the patterns of behavior, right? They create the action. So even if you feel somewhere inside that things should be different, you won't act on that feeling because the fears and conditionings are always the strongest thing. So today I really want to show you how to transform from the inside out by focusing on transforming you, transforming that ripple effect. But also blend in the marketing strategy, right? I'm going to share with you a way to shift your income really, really fast. Because when you're powerful, going back to this beautiful, the strategy you use will be powerful as well. And I really experienced that this week in action. You know, I came out of my race on Saturday. I'd had a bit of a personal blow about 2 hours before the damn race that rocked me. So I was on shaky ground anyway. I had the flipping flu and I was like questioning, oh my God, do I race? But I decided I was going to race. I did a 10K obstacle in Ninja Warrior thing. And I came third and I felt amazing. But by about 3 o'clock on Sunday, like I felt bad. I felt really bad. Like every part of my body hurt. And I was just like, yeah, sore, sad. I was sad too. And so on Monday, I woke up and I said, I'm not doing anything today. I was meant to be doing this masterclass. I postponed it. And I didn't have anything attached to that, right? I didn't feel like I would have felt, oh, I'm letting people down, or, you know, I'm missing out on opportunity, or, you know, I just trusted that my feelings were the most important things. And my feelings were telling me to look after you, right? To go to the beach, to run with the kids, to look at the sun, to recover, to heal. And what's happened in the last week has just been really powerful in terms of how I've gone into this masterclass, how I feel about doing it, or how I feel about why I'm doing it, who has ended up signing up to it. You know, there's lots more people than the original. I mean, they're not here now, but it is Saturday morning or Friday in the US, you know, but it's like they'll watch on the replay. So it was by divine plan, but I had to listen to the feelings. And we don't. So at the end of this presentation, I am going to invite you to book a call and take powerful action. There's no obligation to take the call, and there's no obligation on the call to do anything. But I would love to talk more deeply into this stuff. You know, what is this bringing up? What's going on for you? Stuff that we can't talk about here, right? So just looking at my notes. It wasn't just a year ago because it's a really old slides, but if you want more clients, more money, and for your success to pop, if you're feeling that spaghetti mode, I call it spaghetti mode, right? It's like, this is where I was not just a year ago, quite a very long time ago, but it was kind of like every morning I had a bowl and I had all the spaghetti strings in there, and each spaghetti string was a different thing that I was going to try that day to pop through my income. And all you end up doing is picking up the spaghetti bowl, throwing it at the wall, and then just ending up with a big spaghetti mess in your lap and no extra income, right? So you might be sitting with these beliefs around money. You're the condition to making it, or it's hard to make and it's burning you out. You might have even invested money into programs before and it's not worked. So you're sitting with that like lead doubt in your stomach where it's like, oh God, is this going to just be another one I'm going to invest in? It's not going to work. This might even be if you've invested in mindset programs, because what I do is way deeper than mindset. Yeah, my story might resonate with you. So this story specifically might resonate with you. I'm trying to think of the year now. It was 2023. Yeah, last year. I invested 50K into 2 masterminds and a one-to-one coach. What had happened was me and this beautiful family of mine had gone away, like I say, for 2 months traveling. We'd gone around the UK and we'd gone out to Mexico, and I was hosting a beautiful retreat. And for me, like, holy shit, I was living the dream. Like, you know, this life that I'd imagined, this expanded experience of life that I had imagined would come from having money was suddenly manifesting, right? I was traveling, experiencing. But I was also starting to see how I was dragging these guys along with me. You know, my husband, ex-husband, is not really into that stuff. You know, he's a straight up black and white Kiwi guy who likes his home comforts. I think that mismatch between us stressed the kids out. You know, that was kind of like not an easy environment. It was a mess during the retreat. He wasn't used to having them full time. I was still breastfeeding Bowie, you know, so it was sort of like he had a baby and 2 other kids. One of them just wanted me, and it was just a mess. And I came back in February and my feet touched back on New Zealand soil, and somewhere inside of me, I just gave up on this dream. Just gave up. And I was like, okay, it's got to be like, there's got to be a way out strategy, which led to 50K into these masterminds and this one-to-one coach. Because I was like, somebody's got to pull out what I can feel in here, right? And put it into something that's gonna, you know, create something that I want. And nothing could. So at the time I was feeling like it was a massive waste of money that I'd invested into these coaches, into the, you know, the masterminds were just more strategy, and the one-to-one coach kept talking about my relationship. I'm like, dude, like it's nothing to do with the relationship. It's to do with me. It's to do with the business. It's to do with the marketing. It's to do with, and he kept swinging me back, swinging me back, swinging me back. And ultimately I had an aha moment. I was like, fuck, you're right. This relationship it's like the massive, great big elephant in the room that I've not really wanted to look at. And it's affecting my business. It's affecting my creativity, and it's affecting my radical expression. It's not him, it's me, right? There's almost like safety walls up. And what I realized last year that is there's no waste of money, because was it worth 50K to realize the thing that has been holding me back from being me, that was also creating despair in his life as well, that catalyzed his healing journey, that catalyzed my radical expression, that catalyzed an entire, again, massive shift in my business into alignment. And the beautiful thing was, when I shifted on the inside, I could then look back at the other, say, 30K into the strategic coach, or the strategy that I got from the masterminds, and use it. Suddenly, like I say, I was powerful again. It was powerful. It wasn't useful when I wasn't useful. There's never a waste of money. There's only the right time, right? And saying yes. Because I could have gone through that entire 12 months coaching with that coach, and it avoided that elephant in the room because it was uncomfortable. It was the most uncomfortable thing. The thing I realized is the most uncomfortable thing is the thing you need to bloody look at. The elephant in the room is standing between you and the abundance that you want. And the abundance isn't the money. The abundance is the experience of life. The money's just the flow into it, right? And you're part of that flow. It's got to flow through you, and it can't flow you when you're all blocked up with whatever beliefs that you have that create your safety walls, that keep you sat there safe, right? Because you have belief systems about lack. I'm not going to play that one. Whoop, not going to play that one. I'm going to use that one. So maybe I will play that one. Where you get to is a war of attraction instead of law of attraction, right? So it's almost like your own energy it's like holding onto a rope and doing a tug of war with yourself. And it doesn't work. It's like putting yourself on your own noose and believing that the noose is attached to something and pulling tighter, when you then realize that, oh shoot, I'm holding the rope. I just have to change something. I just have to have courage. I just have to, you know, face the thing that's holding me back, face the fears that I have, believe something different. And literally things can change in an instant when you do that. So I'm going to play this quick video. And I made this as part of the launch of the app, which was quite cool. Not the whole video, just a little bit of it. I'm done. It's just getting harder, not easier. I just can't do it anymore. I feel like I'm losing my grip on reality. I'm racing down the stairs, car keys, phone, house keys. And as I get to the window of my car, I see that the car windows are fogged up. Straight away, I know what I've done. And I pull open that car door. And as I'm dropping to my knees, I'm screaming, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done, my boy? I'm so sorry. What have I done? And my eyes didn't want me to see what was there. But you can't unsee that. I'm done. I'm done. It's true. I'm done. I'm calling you out and I'm going to give you your way forward. So I'm sharing that because when you do the internal work, like this creativity comes from you. You stop leaning on the strategies and you start actually sharing what counts. That was the recount of what really got me to stop and realize the hustle that I was in. And that was when I actually killed my own dog. I actually got to this point of being so tired, so distracted. I had a very unwell, nearly 1-year-old baby girl. There's a whole story behind it, but what I know from that and from what happened last year is like, when you don't get off the wheel chucks you off at some point. You're going to experience something that wakes you up. And sometimes that needs to happen, right? It needs to happen. We need to go through the deepest trauma to shake ourselves, and there's learning and wisdom in it. But also, I don't believe that life has to be that hard if we can just start listening and start growing, right? We can become inventive, we can become responsive, we can become powerful. The other thing that I've learned in going through that experience and going through my marriage breakup last year is that, again, it's my own methods that have got me out, right? So it's like, it's not only what I've been helping my clients with, it's helped me as well. And while it took me a long time to get over the dog, in the last sort of 6 months, I feel like I've taken a massive quantum leap, way easier because of the stuff that I'm going to share with you. So this stuff is extremely powerful, extremely powerful, but it does start on the inside. This is the original this is me and my brother. But in my original presentation, I talk about my childhood a little bit, but yeah, that's my little brother, us in the bath. So we kind of see on the outside this secret to success being the strategic way, but it really isn't. It's an inner journey. There is a method that you can follow to make the journey easier. And my method focuses on scaling your business in 1 hour a day. And around that hour a day, honestly, I feel like my life just, unfolds in miracles. Like I have a magic key that opens all doors, right? And I want to give you the key. I want to give you this key. I want you to awaken your miracle frequency. Like I said, step number 1 to doing that was dedicating my life to ritual, was literally just saying to myself, okay, instead of being caught up in what's going on out here, I'm going to just start coming in. I'm going to start coming in and see what is within. I'm going to listen to my feelings. I'm going to realize that my fears don't swallow me whole. When you allow yourself to feel your fear, it disappears, right? When you face your fear in a way that is peaceful and in surrender, it disappears. And if you do not believe that you have a fear of something, then that fear won't manifest. But if you hold on to your fear, it will manifest. If you fear that you won't succeed, you won't succeed. If you fear that your launch is going to fail, your launch will fail. If you believe your post is shit, your post will be received as shit. It's all about belief. I believe divine assistance is available to all of us. But it's unconditional. But you have to connect to your purpose. You, like I say, you have to be part of that solar circuit. The sun's shining down every day, right? But it's a circuit. It's a circuit and things play into that circuit. There's an ecosystem. You're part of the ecosystem. You've got to give. The universe holds this massive carrot of success just out of reach when you're offline with off center with that purpose. The more you can get into your divine purpose, the closer the carrot gets, right? The easier things become because it's meant to be like that. But honestly, like I say, for me, this came from a place of rock bottom. And ultimately realizing that, oh, okay, rock bottom isn't a bottom at all because you actually don't hit the ground necessarily if you let go and surrender to what is happening to you. You just keep falling into this massive void that becomes the beginning of creation. So wherever you are right now, whatever number is in your bank balance, whatever challenges you are experiencing, if you can just let go of your grip, of your fear, of everything that you fear, and believe that you're in exactly the right place in exactly the right moment and open up to quantum possibility, open up your beliefs. This could be the beginning of a really exciting creation for you. And I want you to feel into that right now. I want you to feel into it's like, oh, okay, if I'm creating something, what is it that I'm creating? Who do I want to become? What is the identity I want to have? Who am I as that thought leader? What is the thing? Like you've heard me talk about the miracle frequency today. Like, what are you bloody so hooked on that works? What's the principle that you believe that everybody in the whole bloody world should be doing? And who is that version of you that is out there reaching thousands and thousands of people with it and creating a constant flow into your business, an ease of flow and opportunities. And then as part of that flow, you're flowing out. What is the stuff that you're doing that you're not doing now? Is it more time with your children? Is it holidays? Is it running retreats? Is it being interviewed on podcasts? Is it having your own podcast? Like, what is this stuff? Connect with it. Connect with it now because we don't. Because we're stuck in the bloody buff of our business and we don't have time to think about that stuff. We'll do it when, or we'll do it if. But there is no if-when condition in the infinite field of possibility that is the quantum field of opportunity. There is only and. That is the divine reality. And you get to have it all. And it gets to be easy. So I want you to pledge before we finish this call on more of the strategic stuff. Okay. I'm going to commit to what you are going to show me with trust. Because the transformation is in this transaction of my commitment, and I owe it to myself and my clients to serve everyone at the highest level. Do I have your commitment, ladies and gentlemen? You are literally just one quantum leap from your goal. And I want you to know that quantum doesn't mean massive. Quantum is the teeniest, tiniest, teeniest thing in the whole freaking world. It's tiny. Quantum is tiny. And that means that it can be the simplest bit of intention. I intend. Hold your intention and your desire will manifest, right? It can be the smallest thing. But you got to stick to this. You got to stick to it. You can't let the fears come in. So the Awakened Wealth Blueprint is a 9-step journey to swap hustle for predictable income, time freedom, and true light leadership. So the first part, the first 3 steps are really around awakening this miracle frequency. It's a mystery school, basically, and I know Lee's been experiencing this, like waking up your ultra mind, coming out of that whole limbic mental struggle, opening this creative part of your mind, starting to identify some of these limiting belief systems that you have, the fear stuff, shifting perspective, because what happens when we shift perspective, we bend reality instantly. Your entire reality changes just in a shift of perspective, right? As long as you feel differently at the same time. And we run alongside this, the attract piece, which is to I use 2 levels of funnels. And the first level of funnel is just a social media funnel that brings everything that I know about using social media powerfully and time efficiently into a simple DMO that you use every single day. I also know that story, who you are, your authentic truth is just such powerful juju on social media. So I teach you how to start sharing more authentically, not get hooked up into, oh, my posts need to look like that person's over there, or, just trying to preach all the time. It's like I teach you about the classroom. We have this beautiful classroom of life. How do we share from it in a way that hooks our ideal client? And the thing is, on social media at the moment, you need to hook your ideal client because they're not engaging anymore. There's so much good content, and we're so used to receiving it and consuming it that we just will laugh, we'll cry, and then we'll just scroll over and forget to like or comment. It really has to be something that really grabs our attention, that makes us comment. So we need to know our ideal client deeply. Not the demographics, the psychographics, the psychology. We need to know where they are in their journey when they meet you, right? We need to know the stuff that they are not saying out loud, what they've tried that hasn't worked, all this stuff. So we dig into that in this attract piece. And the final stage of the attract piece, which, yeah, you're edging closer to Lee now, is that we create a content wheel, right? That takes your time away from social media. So I created I call it the content wheel. I've got another client that's just changed the name of everything I have. I think she calls it the creation cycle or something. But anyway, it takes long form content to short form content so that you can just keep pumping out content really easily. So I don't know if you follow Ray and Patsy Lee or Monica, but they've just started to use the content wheel. So every single time that they run a masterclass, they run a long form video of any kind, whether it's public or private, they're using AI to chop it down. And again, how do we share the best bits? We just know our audience and we know the questions that they're asking. But again, because of social media, we need to be showing up every single day. It needs to be consistent content, and that can get exhausting if you're trying to, share everything as original content, right? So we get into the content wheel, and then we move into the unleash stage, which is where we go into your scale, which I'm going to talk about. Change the language a little bit on here, but that's the essence of the 9 steps. So the awaken part is all about your personal transformation and your the mystery school stuff, the business energetics. Then we get into your metaphysical marketing, brand expression, social media. And then we get into evergreen selling and scaling, which for me is a really exciting piece, but it will only work if you've really mastered these 2 parts first. So in this first part, like connecting with who you are authentically is really important. And this is where we are just taking off those onion layers, right? When you know yourself and you know yourself as shadow and light, this becomes very powerful in your marketing. It becomes very powerful in your energy as well, because you no longer have the triggers that shift your frequency. You no longer have shame or guilt. It's like you take armor off. I call them armors. It's like, what is the armor that you've been wearing that makes you feel safe, but has just made you walk around bloody awkwardly for the last however many years, like weighted down by chainmail because you've been scared to show yourself. You step into powerful action, right? So it's like we talked about this last week in the VIP mystery school. There's a creation cycle. Action generally doesn't look like you think it's going to look when you're in divine flow, right? Things are faster, things are inspired, things happen more easily, and you become fearless in your life and business and magnetic to what you want. And that's where you arrive to this beautiful, renewed and aligned perception, purpose, and level of prosperity, and live already in the vibration of the success that you want, as if you've already got it. Like I say, then we get into the strategic piece. I ideal client avatar, psychology, purchasing habits, blah, blah, blah. This stuff to me just feels like bread and butter now. But I think the key piece is like, how do you do it efficiently in this 1 hour a day? And that really does have to be a blend between the metaphysical and the physical. All of these physical steps, but then being in the energy that makes the right person see your post in the right moment, right? And that's just a little shot of the content wheel. So it's quite cool. It's like having a long form video that I always suggest starts with YouTube. YouTube is a beautiful place to build a brand. So when we've really got clear on who you're talking to, the concept that you're taking out to market, that we've got very unique to you, that has a beautiful niche position, we start creating YouTube that has key moments. So you basically watch back your own videos and you identify the key moments. And then you can take that to short form videos, or you can use Opus or some other AI that does it for you. It's a bit quicker, but you won't necessarily get the best clips. But it's about clipping down long content that can then go to daily reels and static posts around your daily reels, your Facebook. And then we also want to be using like wheeling in a Facebook group to this wheel as well, so that we've got community building and DMs as well. And then we go into the final piece, which I am really excited about this piece. This was where, when I got back from Mexico, and I realized the desire for the time freedom, I decided to build a funnel behind the book that I was launching anyway. I decided to launch a book, to publish my book. But I guess in a divine moment, and I think I might have even been in the airport in Mexico, just flicking over Instagram and saw a thing that said, use a book as a way to get clients on automation. I was like, what? Okay, mine's just about to come out. How do I do this? So I ended up like looking up this guy, hacking his funnel, and I was like, far out. This is the best idea anybody has ever had. And then I went and I found 35 more book funnels, hacked all of them, made it a little project, and realized that, holy shit, I was literally just about to put this book on Amazon, hope people read it, hope people connect with me, when I can create a funnel from the book to working with me. And I took all of these golden nuggets from all of these people who had done it before, and I created my own funnel that I just launched as a whim, to be honest. It was quite funny that my first version of the funnel, 2 hours before the book launched, I pressed a button that you're not meant to press in my system and deleted the whole fucking thing. And I was like, no. And then I relaxed. I was like, no, divine flow. I meant to simplify it. So I simplified it. And then within 4 weeks, I had so many people booking calls and making sales through this book funnel that I was like, oh my God, I feel like I've retired. And the conversations that I was having with podcasts and people like that, they were like, oh, you've got a book? Yeah, definitely. Where before they were like, who are you? Suddenly having a book, I was way more important, even though nothing had changed, right? It was like, ooh, you're onto something here. Sales calls that were coming through YouTube. I'd never had sales calls through YouTube before, but they'd read the damn book. And they felt like, instead of just seeing me talk on the screen, they felt like they knew me, and these calls were different. The calls booking through Facebook were different. They were a whole different conversation. And I thought, oh, Claire, you are onto something here, girl. And it was funny because I'd obviously invested in those mentors as well. So I wasn't using their strategy. I was doing this all by myself in the background. And I decided to test this with 3 of my clients in the Medicine Temple and give them an opportunity. I spoke to my publisher and she was like, oh, we could launch like a chapter book, So again, divine inspiration, coincidence, just a whim. We'll write a chapter book and they can write a chapter in this book. And we got some other people to jump in as well and build like a beta funnel behind these chapters. And they were all a success as well. And the thing that I noticed as well, and it was interesting because I'd already decided to film and trail the journey of this scaling system, this automated scaling system. But what happened by divine flow was that my clients took this whopping epic journey of self-discovery, of meeting their true fears, of stepping out of their comfort zones, of really identifying the reasons why they hadn't done it beforehand, just in this prospect of putting themselves out there in a book. So I ended up with a documentary on YouTube profiling this whole journey, you know, to help people realize. I called it a baptism of fire, to help people realize that it's not a comfy journey to stepping out and getting big, stepping out and having the reach, claiming your authority, owning your space. You really do have to step into the fire and you get prickly heat, right? But it's a baptism. It's like a purification. It's this beautiful process. And this process is now the third part of the Awakened Wealth Blueprint. That means you can scale without the hustle, right? Because ultimately, and you can scale without being strapped to social media as well. Because tell me you haven't already thought about hiring somebody to do your social media for you, because it just gets boring, or it gets, like samey. This way, actually, you can have the space to be, like I say, in your creativity, and your social media is just going to come way more easily. And it takes a lot less to get people into the funnel. Your focus is on getting people into the funnel, right? And that is way easier with search engine optimization, using something like YouTube, right? Where your videos on social media will be there for 10 minutes. Your video on YouTube will still be making you money in 2070. If YouTube's still around. I promise you that. Promise you that. I still get clicks to the funnel from videos I made ages ago. You also get to use YouTube Studio, which is this epic tool for market research. So, little hint, when you start posting long form videos, so what we do when we start to think about your book, or if you want to write a chapter in what is now a leading series of books, a best-selling series of books, Leading with Light, that little divine inspiration just to have a platform to put my beta clients in, is now a freaking series of books, bestseller on bloody Amazon, right? We actually dig into, like, what are you, it's like key themes, right? What are the key points of this principle that you have? And we just keep using those key points as the basis for your content on YouTube. So that every week, every 2 weeks, even every 3 weeks, or even every month, it just depends on your time and creativity, motivation. You put content out there that YouTube just starts telling you what's working. What are the titles that you should use? What are people searching around this thing? Basically, how do you just bring more people into your damn funnel? It's insane. It's brilliant. Right. So in the third part, once we've got the basic social media funnel going, because we want you to have a little bit of a name. We want you to know who your audience is. We want you to be clear on what lights you up in terms of how you want to reach more people. We bring this into an effective book funnel that becomes an evergreen sales asset. Does that like turn you on? An evergreen sales asset. No more freebies. No more lead magnets. No more launches unless by inspiration, right? It is automated. It is recurring, predictable income. It is a place to sell your course content. I think the first 6 weeks of the year, I made 14.5K USD off my low ticket sales. Now, January, as you know, Mark, in New Zealand is when people don't do anything. It's like the whole country goes to sleep for 4 weeks. And I did too. I spent my time with the kids. They were on holiday on the beach. I DJ'd at my first festival. Like, I had like the time of my life. I made 14.5K in digital sales through my book funnel. So the other thing about having a book is you're making an impact with those people who won't buy. So that kind of satisfies the soul goal too, right? Because they read your story, they feel something, they usually shift something. If they're not ready to buy something, they're in your funnel and you might warm them up. They'll stay on your list and at some point they will. But even if they just make a little shift, you've helped somebody without sacrificing your soul for it. Because that's the other thing that starts to happen is you start to get into this like trying to help everyone mode when you're trying to serve everyone one-to-one or with digital products. A book is a really powerful way to make an impact without you having to be part of that. You know, again, it's kind of an automated thing. And I give you every single system and template you need for an evergreen sales system that will put money in the bank while you sleep. And I think the beautiful thing is that predictability. It's like you can see after 3 or 4 months, like what your lows are and what your highs are. And you can start to attribute, oh, what makes the highs, what may have caused the lows. But the lows are your benchmark that if you step out, you know are going to come anyway, right? Because of the content wheel, because that's where you can systemize, that's where you can bring in somebody to post the content for you, which means you've got freedom. That if you're sick, a child's sick, you want to go on sabbatical, you can step out, you can take that rope off from around your neck and you can have freedom. I can't sell this like more than I am. It's so powerful. And what we saw with the beta project is that ideal clients were going from cold to sold in under 5 days. So from putting a piece of content out there to getting them into the funnel, we were converting people, me and the 3 betas, within 5 days. So when we launched Leading with Light, I think I brought in a one-to-one client within 12 hours of putting Leading with Light out there. Because he just loved the freaking chapter. He was like, wow, this speaks to my soul. So these were my beautiful beta clients. You can read their stories in the first volume of Leading with Light. And the really exciting thing is that, and you can watch their story in A Baptism of Fire also, which is on YouTube. The really exciting thing is that we are now about to put a deadline on being part of volume 2. So I'm going to do a bit of a call to action on this. If this is resonating with you and you would like to talk about that opportunity on the call that I'm offering at the end, book the call. So there are some hot steps in this Awaken Wealth Blueprint. Like I talk about, it's the quantum leap method that is doing the inner transformation. It is this alpha creation method, which is, again, where I say Lee's at. It's really starting to realize that you do not need to know how. Like there's this whole part of your brain that just is tapped into the universe that you can access. Alpha creation. We get there through our alpha brain waves, which is the slowing down. Beta consciousness is where I am right now, and my eyes are like focused and I'm really wired and I'm talking to you and I'm thinking, right? When we slow down the brain waves and we go into more of a meditative state, we go into the alpha brain wave. That is where we're connecting with the universe and we get these divine downloads. And it's cool. It's like walking the worlds like the shaman does. It's like receiving the messages, the divine downloads, seeing things that you didn't see before, solving problems in a way that you've not solved them before, or they just go away, right? Another key step is the 30-day brand rebirth. Everybody who works with me gets a digital program delivered to their inbox for the first 30 days that we work together, which is the low-hanging fruit. So we start to build in this daily method of operation on social media. We start to, look at these elements of your ideal audience and how you get really clear on hooking the person that you want in at the point in their journey where they're ready for you. The personal story formula. This personal story formula made me 6 figures. Like it is powerful. It is just how you share your story on social media, basically using personal story, past, present, and future storytelling as a strategy to hook in those ideal clients. And then obviously this $1 million book funnel. The other really important thing that I'm just started to say to people, I need to take these photos out. This is like heartbreaking. When you work with me, you've got to trust a creative wave of chaos. Like everything that happens to you is happening on purpose, right? Everything is for a highest purpose. And I think when we can learn to surrender and we can learn to let go of control, and that we can attach less to the outcomes and be more in the moment, like the more your life is going to expand. As I realized last year, that can come with letting go of things that you didn't expect that you were going to let go of, right? But it does come from letting go. It's like clearing space. It really is like, you know, allowing the universe to align things for you, because you've really got clear on what is for you, you know, and who you are and what your highest expression is out there in the world. When you work with me as well, let's be clear that I am a somatic coach. I don't work with this, I work with this. I work with your body. I work with your nervous system. I use a lot of somatic tools, a lot of visualization, a lot of energy work. I know it's extremely powerful. I discovered this idea that I call the triangle of power, which is it's like an energetic complex stability that I want you to have, and I want you to have it fast, which means we have to balance and clear the root chakra to give us this strong foundation. Because what you're doing when you're moving into, you know, higher expression of who you are in your reality is we're actually shifting into a new octave of frequency. And when you get there, everything's going to look different. And what's going to happen is you're going to be straight down into your reactive base chakra, which is your survival chakra, right? So we need to clear it. We need to make sure that as you shift, as you take these quantum jumps, you're actually okay to arrive in this new place that you're heading to. So we clear and we balance the root chakra. We work with the nervous system so it's beautifully regulated. That's the second side of the triangle. And on the other side of the triangle, we're constantly expanding your blueprint, your awakened blueprint, your belief systems, positively imprinting your energy body. Like, I love this part, teaching you to experience pleasure, because we can't. And that's the thing. We can't hold the bad feelings. We can't hold the good feelings either. We need to be able to expand enough to hold both. That creates this beautiful final wall on this triangle that leads up into this solar plexus, which is your center of confidence, it's your center of worthiness. It's the place where action happens, right? Energy needs to be able to move up and through to get into the heart space, to get into the expression, to get into the legacy. Where most people are stuck is in their root chakra, right? It's kind of like they're not even getting up into the desire place. They're not moving their energy. They're not in ascension. They're in stuck. So we work a lot with the body. We work a lot with the nervous system. We work a lot with the breath, movement, and it's super powerful. We create this triangle of power. And I do focus on this hustle piece as well. Really, I love this story of Aisha because she stopped working in her business and thinking about her business 24/7. She said, I've been living in Bali for 7 years and I've never lived the Bali life. She'd never even been to the bloody beach. She was just in constant struggle, constant hustle. So she went from that to just like wearing beautiful red dresses and parading around Bali and drinking mocktails and living the life, right? Carmen, I think she's in my mastermind. So I think for me, I think what's made a huge difference has been the amount of support that I've had within this mastermind compared to other masterminds that I was in. That shifted things, huge shift, big, massive shifts, which is amazing. I actually feel like people are magnetizing towards me, if that makes sense. I'm kind of mind blown. I guess maybe it was how I got rid of a lot of the blocks that I was having hanging on to my previous identity. So Carmen went from being a birth doula to the quantum birth doula and is now reaching thousands of people with her content on Instagram and TikTok. She is a viral influencer. She is making fucking huge waves in the UK around the birth scene and all of the ways in which we're, you know, disturbing birth. She does not care what she says anymore. Her content is absolutely brilliant. And she took her business from, she was earning £300 a month when she worked with me to 10 to 20K months. And she's also one of my Quantum Leap master coaches, which is beautiful. And she's often too busy to come and do presentations in our portal, which upsets me quite a lot. But she's always out there on stages and doing all sorts of things. not sure it was here. So basically, you have two options: do nothing and nothing will change, or take a small step with no risk attached, which is jump on a call with me. I'd love you, before we finish, we're just about to finish, to just, having heard what I've talked about today, has the goalpost shifted? Do you feel like something different might be available to you in the next 6 months? Do you want to share with me a goal for the next 6 months? Because I would love to hear. It's like going from this is the figure that will make me feel secure to this is the freaking figure. This is the dream figure. Going from this is where I feel like I would be comfortable to this is where I feel like I will be living my life, right? And having the dream business. Doubling, tripling to 10xing. How would that feel? Has your goal shifted? And just to give you an example while you think about that, like some of these shifts can be so simple. The thing that took Carmen to a 10K month, right? She said to me on a chat one day, she's like, oh, it's, working with people who have fears. Oh, no, it wasn't a chat. It was in a session. And I asked her, well, who are you working with? It was in her strategic session. Who are you working with? And she said, oh, it's people who have fears, blocks about giving birth. And I went, Carmen, 99% of women have blocks and fears about giving birth. And she's like, oh, yeah. Right? So we then went to a sales message and a branding that spoke to one person. What are the blocks and the fears of one person, the specific person on the specific journey that her ideal client was on, that was crippling her, right? And then she started to mirror her content to this one person. She just started going out there and speaking to this one ideal client rather than 99% of people who have blocks and fears about giving birth, right? She niched. She found out where they cannot stand their pain any longer, where they get so uncomfortable they will do anything to create a magical birth. And what she got to was quite simple. They'd experienced a shit show birth the first time round. They were in their second opportunity. And they were already looking at the transcendent birth, right? So again, it was very niche. And we get scared about getting very niche because we feel like we'll cut a load of people out, but it's very niche that will make you very riche. It's very niche that will make you very rich, right? The riches are in the niches. We've got to let go of that fear and get super niche. I never know if it's niche or rich. So yeah, okay. So that was Carmen's testimonial before. It's obviously not embedded anymore. So we got anything in the chat? Look. Monica would like to book a call again. It resonates. I need to become super niche. Absolutely. Super niche, super rich. So would you rather start creating from the unknown and creating those quantum leaps? An example was the year before in the February. It seems to be something about Februaries for me, Februaries and Octobers. But I decided to stop selling and I set my goal of 25K. And I got a 25K legacy payment come through. Miracle frequency, right? Tapping into the possibilities of the quantum field. Keep doing what you're doing and creating more of what you've got, or opening up possibility. Imagine being able to trust that leads are coming to you and everything in your business is happening exactly as it should to have the results that you want. Feeling peace. I said at the beginning, feeling peace. Switching your mind off. Like, what would happen in your life if you switched your mind off? Everything is a mirror of your energy, right? And your actions. So your energy and your actions need to be your primary focus every single day. Type get it when you've got it. And that's what we do. We're using neurosomatic techniques to create this magnetism. We're accessing altered states of consciousness. This is beta state of consciousness. This is, I know, we get into altered states of consciousness that bypass the internal programming, right? You're going away from the blueprint completely into intuition, into creativity, into clarity, so that your perception changes and you bend your reality, right? You feel differently, you do differently, you attract differently. And we're also using ancient wisdom in the body. Like, we ain't been doing this just in our lifetime, right? If we go back to ancient times, if we go back to the ancient Egyptians that I'm fascinated with, they were manifesting shit like crazy. And the wisdom of how to do that is in your body. And I promise you that if you've had any trauma, you will be disconnected to your body. And we need to switch back on the neurosomatic connection, and we need to shift the meta programming. We cannot shift meta programming in the mind. We need to go past the mind directly into the body. And that's going to really help you to take empowered, expanded action and experience expression in more flow and trust than ever before. So there's a few more testimonials that I won't go into, but you are going to be calling in dream clients, because there is a difference between, clients and dream clients. You are going to make dream money. And as I realized, that wasn't actually $1 million. I actually need a lot less now than I did then. My goalposts are a lot different. I'm moving out of a home into a tiny house, and I'm so happy. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like really getting to the truth of who you are and what you really need. And it's not even need, it's desire, right? It's truth. And taking out that influence, building that brand authority, becoming the possibility that you truly are. And that will look different for lots of people, but the people who come to me, generally it's stages, it is the book, it is the podcasts, that sort of thing, getting your message out to people. So would you rather be able to relax, release, and embody the identity shift? And if you were in the mystery school, I got you to describe that, and live in elevated emotions, live in pleasure, live in bliss, or stay stuck where you are. Again, feeling the same things, experiencing the same struggles. Yeah, again, stay creatively blocked, remain unexpressed, keep sleeping on your dreams and playing small, or create magnetism, convert clients straight from your social media and have the courage to say the damn thing. These are just elements of, like I said, those kind of hot steps. But what I really want you to do is skip trial and error. Stop trying all the things and seeing if they're working. Go straight to the quantum leap. Stop trading time for money. This is really, really important as well. Start connecting with your ideal audience. Connection is a really important word for me this last year. It's like, was I really having true connection? And that was in all areas. And be recognized. Be recognized for your thought leadership. Be recognized for what you've experienced in your life and what you've learned and your wisdom. And double or triple your income in the next few weeks. So there is some urgency to, like I say, take action now. I want to offer a call to everyone to discuss this in more detail, how it would be a fit for you. But what I'm offering in the next few weeks as we move towards the launch of Leading with Light is a little bit of a creative package that gives you the opportunity to be part of the next series of Leading with Light, build this book funnel, and also be part of the launch of my creative platform, Mayu. So I'm launching a platform called Mayu TV, and I'm going to be using my podcast with, like, again, divine inspiration. I've already had the most incredible people interview, like Niraj from Soma Breath. So I'm going to use the, people wanting to hear these people's stories and resources and tips to drive traffic to your content. So we'll talk about it on the call, but there is some urgency to be part of that, because I'm putting a time limit on it. And I'm also, we've obviously got a schedule to follow on the book, because we've already got writers as well linked in, which is exciting. So just one more testimonial. I love this little video. It's about 30-second long, but just to give you one more little, proof that this stuff is working. What's a minute?
I unleashed my impossible
and reached my last year's turnover in only 6 months this year. I unleashed my part-time job, be fully in on my business, my passion and glory, and I am getting 5-ticket paying clients.
I just finished a 6-month accelerator program. My biggest win has been how I've now managed to scale up my business as a result of my Instagram presence.
I unleashed my impossible. Master, manifester, calling in and receiving $25,000.
So we always have an impossible, right? Let's own that. There's always somewhere inside of us that we feel is impossible. And I really work there. That's where I work with, is your impossible. There's lots of options to work with me, from digital programs up to one-to-one. But there's a big limit around the one-to-one and also the group program as well, because I like to keep those programs intimate so that you get all of me. And you get a very high touch experience as well. But I want you to be my next success story. I want you to unleash that millionaire business. So if you're interested, this is what you have to do: is you just have to click the little link that I'm going to put into the chat to book a call. You find a time that works for you, and you watch the recorded video on the confirmation page, and then you fill out the short form. Now, the short form is really important because I won't take a call if you're not in the right position to go forward, because it's just going to be a waste of my time and a waste of your time, because we do go into strategy on the call, right? I am going to look at where you are, what you've already tried, what you're doing, and where your intention is too, right? I don't want to work with somebody who tells me that their impossible is impossible. I want to work with somebody who tells me, yeah, I feel like it's impossible, Claire, but I'm willing to do what it takes to move forward now. I'm ready to take this ship out into the big waves. I want to start experiencing divine flow. I want to make a difference in my life. I want to make a difference in other people's lives as well. So just give me a second and I will pop that little link in for you. And if you want to book, you can obviously go straight through and book now. There are limited spaces. That should work. And if, like I say, there's no obligation on the call to work with me, and you can just take what I share with you and go and, implement it. One of the qualifiers is that you're aware that there is a cost to get started working with me, but it's an investment, and it's an investment that you can get back as well. And in August last year, the last time we did the mystery school, 100% of my clients that came through from the mystery school shifted their income in 4 to 6 weeks. So it's like, it is possible. You are possible. But a lot of that is the energy you come in with, right? Your ability to be coachable, your ability to follow the steps, and your ability to surrender and trust. You can have it all, and it can be easy, but with that great power comes responsibility. We're talking about building an empire to impact people, right? And that's what I'm saying about the carrot. The universe is holding the carrot. It's just out of reach. We've got to start playing the game. You are a player, but you're also played in this greater reality of and. You can have it all, and it can be easy. But we've got to get into divine flow, right? We've got to play the game. So I think that is us just about finished. Does anybody have any questions? Move the screen over. It's not a move. Screen has completely given up. I don't think there was anything else important. Does anybody have any questions before we jump off? All still here, all still awake. Awesome. Perfect. If not, I will leave that here. We have gone over time. I usually go over time, but I hope that that was helpful and I hope that it was inspiring. I will be sending some emails out as well. So if questions come up, just flick a reply back on the email. I hope that you're all not attached, a part of the app as well, because we do have a community function in there that we don't use as well as we should. But you can speak to each other and you can speak to me through the app as well. And we also have the Facebook group, which is beautiful, a beautiful community growing. And yeah, it's nice to be on this journey together. So thank you for being here live. That is beautiful that you showed up for you. And I will be looking forward to seeing you book your calls in. And I hope you have the most beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.